lovely day in Letterkenny, and the Donegal team are out there warming up in O'Donnell Park, St Eunan's GAA club in Letterkenny. And it's actually warm out there. I was out about 10 minutes ago in the sun, and it's really nice. There is a bit of a coolness, of course, when you come into the stand, but it's a lovely day here in Donegal for this Lidl National League Division 1 game between Donegal and the champions at Meath. And that champions bit grates a little bit here in Donegal, because last year they were beaten in the final, the National League Division 1 final, by Meath 2-8 to 1-9 in Croke Park, and they were beaten in the All-Ireland final also by 2 points, not 12 to 1-7 on that occasion. So there's a bit of history here, and Donegal are still sore from losing those two games last year. And as far as I make it, the last time these two teams actually played was a league meeting way back in 2015 in Killygordon, would you believe? And it was Donegal 6-17, Meath 2-6 on that occasion. But that was a long time ago, and that was before Meath got themselves together and managed to win a couple of All-Irelands and a National League. And the girl out in the middle there on the left with the orange bib is Shauna Ennis, the captain, and she has lifted the 3 national cups in the last couple of years as captain of Meath, the 2 All-Irelands and the National League, and she added an All-Star just a couple of months ago as well. Been in the panel 10 years, debut in 2013, Shauna Ennis, around the same time as Mara O'Shaughnessy, her debut 2013 as well, and those two similar vintage. And Shauna was in and out a little bit. She got a bit sick of the whole thing when it was going badly, but boy have they got their act together. And the captain for Donegal, well, it's supposed to be Emer Gallagher, but that's not Emer Gallagher out there. Maybe they've sent in, is it Nicole McLaughlin? I'm not quite sure, but they're out there with the referee, and that's Kevin Corcoran, definitely, and he is from Mayo. Shauna now demonstrating something, maybe about challenges, because last week I know it was a tricky one for supporters, referees, players. There's a lot of incidents in these games where players clash, shall we say, and it's hard to know which way to go. As the player planted her feet, as the running player with the ball made an effort to go round her. It's a difficult one to grasp these days, and maybe they're just explaining a few things in there about that as well, having a bit of a discussion. I noticed a few former players having that kind of discussion online during the week as well, so it is an issue at the moment. All the umpires there ready to take their places, and the 2 lines people, and they today are Stephen Doherty and Declan Callahan. So it's O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny, and it's Shauna Ennis there, the Meath captain, going back to her team. I wonder what way she's going to play. There's no wind advantage here as such, really. Although, actually, I'm looking at the flags now, and it's going sort of across the pitch, so going away from where we are to the other side. So maybe it is significant, but the real significant thing will be the sun. It is over to the right-hand side as you're looking to it. So if Monica McGurk, for example, is in goals to the left here, the sun will be in her eyes in the first half. So if there's a high ball in there, she could be in difficulty there. Now, let's look at the teams, because Donegal have actually added a couple of players to their squad that we didn't know about during the week. So I'll give that while I give their team. So let's look at Donegal. Aoife McColgan in goals, and then you have the 2 cars down the right side of the defence, so there could be overtaking there down that lane. Evelyn McGinley at number 3. Nicole McLaughlin is in this week. She was to start last week but didn't. She's the sister of Geraldine, so she's at number 6. And further up there, well, you have all the debut girls from last week who did so well. Saskia Boyle, Caught Gillespie, Katie Long, Leisha Ryan on her home pitch, number 12 from St Eunan's. And Shannon McGrody was to start last week but didn't. Came on at the end for a cameo, but this, I make it her first start since 2019. She's been out with an ACL. Made her debut way back in 2013. Played for Termon actually, but now plays for Downings. So that's Shannon McGrody at number 14. So the 2 girls in, 29 Daniel McDevitt and 30 Ciara O'Donnell at O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny from St Eunan's. I'll give you the Meath team in a moment, but we are going to pause now because there's a young lady down on the pitch who is microphone in hand and about to sing the anthem, I think. So we'll give you the Meath team in a moment. perfect setting for this Lidl National League Division 1 game. Let's go on to the Meath team before we start. Monica McGurkin goals as usual. 3 All-Stars. Mary-Kate Lynch at full-back, another All-Star. Katie New in the left corner. And Anya Sheridan in the right. Niamh Gallagly with a rare start at right half-back. She made her debut in 2016. One of 3 Dunshaughlin players in the team today. The other 2, Maeve Byrne at number 11 and Niamh O'Sullivan at number 15. She made her debut in 2008, 15 years ago. And just up the wing from her at number 12, Ciara Smith, 16 years old in 2021 when she was called out to be part of the Meath squad when they won the All-Ireland. What an experience for her. So the master and apprentice down the side there, 12 and 15 for Meath. And Maeve Byrne in for a start as well, for her first start since Armagh last year. I make it, or did she play last week? Did she start last week? But certainly her first start ever for Meath was last year against Armagh in the championship. She scored a good point last week as well. Megan Tyne scored last week as well, 2 points. Stacey Grimes scored 4 frees. For Donegal though, Suzanne White scored 5 points for them from frees, and Saskia Boyle got a point. They only scored 6 points, and that could be the issue today. Do Donegal have the firepower today? I'm going to look around to see if there's any late changes to the starting lineup that they've kept secret. The ball thrown in by Kevin Corcoran from Meath, or from Mayo of course. Meath in the white jerseys up against Donegal here in their home territory. This is Aoife Minogue, who is well known in Camogie and Meath, but has come into the football setup. So she's at midfield there, played well last week against Dublin, but both teams lost last week. So they're looking for a win today to get their campaign up and running. This is Megan Tyne, another girl who's come over from Camogie, still plays the Camogie of course, but has joined the football ranks and has been there a good number of years now, managed to play both of them for a while. And that has gone wide. Yeah, Megan's still managing to play both, but Aoife has come in now and she, I imagine, will play both as well. But 2 players important to the setup this year in Meath. The goalkeeper, Aoife McColgan from Malin. And she goes right over to the right corner trying to pick out, is it Saskia Boyle right over there? That was going to be a pinpoint one, but it didn't work. The Meath press is working in the first minute or 2 of the game because they now have possession. Grimes gives it out. And they're going to try and spread the play here, but it doesn't reach Megan Tyne over on the right hand side. That's well intercepted. And the girl back there, Leisha Ryan, on her home pitch here in Letterkenny. And there's a number 20 out there for Donegal that I've just spotted, and that isn't a huge surprise, but they kept that quiet from us. It's Katie Dowds, who played so well last week. There's McGrady trying to feed the ball out, but that's a misplaced pass. But yes, number 20 is out there for Donegal, and that is Katie Dowds. And Katie came in last week and got rave reviews. Emer Gallagher after the match was telling me that she made her man of the match, player of the match, and she's number 20 from Sean McCool's, and she's only 16 and she's got another start today. Maybe the thinking was, we'll not build her up too much, we'll just tell her at the last minute that she's in. And there's 22 in as well for Donegal, and that is Jodie McFadden from Termon. So that's at least 2 late changes. And number 18 is in there as well, I'm now saying. Suzanne White from Killybegs, and I'm not surprised there. She scored 5 of their 6 points last week. And she's playing in and around the full forward area now, trying to get in behind there, but you can see the pattern there to the left of your screen. 4 Meath white jerseys in there, and this is the way they play. They're all zonal marking, and they know exactly what to do, and eventually White goes for that. I thought it was going wide, but that's actually drifted in absolutely beautifully from Suzanne White. 5 points last week out of 6. And it's a great start again today, set up by Tara Hegarty, and she just popped that over, and that's how to beat the blanket defence. Beautifully measured. First point for Donegal. Now Mara O'Shaughnessy for Meath goes with the long ball into the forwards, looking for Ciara Smith, but it bounces over, and Evelyn McGinley is there to give it to Boyle, and Boyle likes to play that sort of sweeping role in there, always available, and plays a lot of good link-up play. Now Donegal spreading the play out to Leisha Ryan. She's got room in front of her, and she's going to give it to Katie Dowds, because Katie's in loads of room as well under the stand here in the shadow part of it. Now comes into the sunshine, the 16-year-old, and she spots Katie Long in the middle, and they go all the way over to the far side, and it's a very wide pitch here it seems, and they're using the full width there, and a little push in the back there, penalised by the referee Corcoran. So Amy Boyle-Carr will have a free here. The question is, how do they beat this Meath setup? Well, Suzanne White has shown them one way so far. Early score for them. Into Katie Long now from Glenn Finn. Gives it back out to Carr. Handles it into, was it Cott Gillespie? I think it was. And this is Amy Boyle-Carr again, but this is where the Meath swarm comes in. The press comes in, and they need the score from these sort of shots, but that's going to drop easily into the arms of Monica McGurk, and they can't waste possession like that. But a good start nonetheless for Donegal to be a point up after 4 minutes of play. And Meath haven't really got into the opposition 21 anyway, maybe around the D area. They got in and around there, but didn't make any impression, or haven't so far. So Meath in the white jerseys. Aoife Minogue from Dunderry tries to go through two or three tackles, but doesn't manage it. And Shelley Tuig from Convoy turns that one over, and Meath will not be happy getting turned over, but at least they haven't conceded a goal inside 2 minutes, which is what they did last week. So 1 point to no score. Ciara Byrne is off to the right if required. They go to Megan Tyne, who's always available in this right half forward position at the minute. Slips it into Niamh O'Sullivan. I think this is maybe her first touch, and she puts it back into O'Shaughnessy. She looked and thought about a hand pass there and nearly got done for over carrying, but gives it to Tyne instead. Back out to O'Sullivan. To Niamh Gallagly, her club teammate from Dunshaughlin. This is Stacey Grimes. They're just spreading the play from side to side to try and find somewhere where they might be able to get a shot off. Trying to get it to their shooters. Stacey Grimes is going to come all the way back out though to the captain. And now she spots Niamh Gallagly in a little bit of room, but again, that space will be closed down, and is. So they try to get in behind Niamh O'Sullivan. I thought she might have got a free there, but keeps going. And how many times have we seen Niamh O'Sullivan do that for Meath down the years? She made her debut in the league in 2008, 15 years ago. Waited 10 years, by the way, to make her debut in Croke Park in 2018 in the All-Ireland Intermediate Final, but she's now a regular in Croke Park, and what a player she is, and that was a fine score, and it levels it for Meath. This is Roisin Rogers. Lots of room in front of her down the left-hand side. I don't think it's an illusion. It is a very big pitch, and that's going to tell today who's got the legs for this sort of a venue. And that's a shot from distance, and it's going to be easy again. That's two they've dropped into the arms of Monica McGurk, and they can't continue to do that. It seemed noticeable last week when we did Donegal's game against Galway that Donegal ran out of legs a little bit. It's tough playing this blanket defence, and much tougher on a bigger pitch like this, even though it is their home pitch. It will be interesting to see how it transpires today. Big crowd has come in. I'm just looking down to the crowd in the stand here. A lot of them came in late-ish, but have filled up the stand quite well, so it was a good atmosphere here. Both teams lost last week though, so Donegal would love to get a little bit of revenge for last year and get a couple of points on the board, and that's a misplaced path, and is a chance for the number 12, Leisha Ryan, to get possession, and she does that and holds possession well. And Sullivan asks for a free, not given. Tuig. A little bit of room through the middle. Meath dropping off as they do into that 45 in their defensive shape, and Donegal will go wide this time. It's Katie Long. And that is McGinley all the way up there, the number 3. As she did last week a few times as well. They give this back out to McGrody, and she's got company there, but manages to shake it off, and she's got players off her shoulder here, and this is good work because Amy Boyle-Carr has a chance, and she drops it in towards Monica McGurk, and she catches it under pressure there. 3-time All-Star, fantastic goalkeeper. And she had no bother with that, but that's 3 times now that they've put efforts in underneath the crossbar. You can't do that to a 3-time All-Star. So Donegal need to be a little bit more clinical up there, but they just didn't have the firepower last week. And going by this week, they have a similar issue, and it's only Suzanne White, really. She got the point today and 5 out of 6 last week. But then again, of course, as has been well documented, a lot of their well-known shooters are not available at this stage of the league. Ennis gives it to Tyne. Back out to Anya Sheridan from the St Michael's Club in Meath. O'Shaughnessy looks to give it back to her. Leaving Cleary from the same club as O'Shaughnessy, Donegal Ashburn. Olivia Callan, and she gives it into Minogan. Minogan through the middle and leaves it off to Niamh Gallagly. What's she doing up there? And she may even have got a penalty. No, referee says play on, and she ends up kicking the ball up in the air, and it's going tamely wide at the end of that. And Niamh looks to be hurt in there in that exchange. She did brilliantly to get in there, and it looked like a goal chance. Let's look at it again. Minogue did really well. Slips it in here. Challenge goes in there, and referee was not interested. And Niamh has taken a bang in the hip there, it looks, for her bravery in going in there. But no free in, no penalty. Referee says nothing wrong with that. I mean, we stay at 1 point each, and Niamh hobbles out again. She's wearing 5, but she's sort of in a full forward position, and she's staying there. Maybe that's because she's hurt, but she's just around the edge of the D there, Niamh. We've seen her come in quite a lot as a sub in the last couple of years, certainly the All-Ireland year, the first All-Ireland year. She would come in around the middle and be one of those transition players like Megan Tyne, going up and down between the 45s with great speed, and would torment a team seeing her coming on with the energy that she brings to it. But today she's starting, and she got through the middle there, and she's actually in the left corner forward position at the minute. Turnover for Donegal, and really well done there as well, and they look to move it quickly, and they get it to Suzanne White, the number 18, and she transports it well up to McGrady, and a little bit of room for her. She's got Mary-Kate Lynch with her, and she is trying to get past, and she has got past, but the referee says over carrying, and credit there to the fullback from Summerhill, an all-star in 2021, Mary-Kate Lynch, and she did really well there up against McGrady. Mary-Kate actually turned 20 years old the day after they won their first All-Ireland. What a weekend for her. Aoibhinn Cleary though, and that's, was that ooh in the crowd there, that bang for Amy Boyle-Curran, the referee will hold that up. So 11 minutes gone, and the first real breather for the teams. And the referee taking a name there, I think, as well. So low scoring, as is the norm in a lot of these games these days, certainly in Division 1, scores at a premium, but an entertaining game in the sunshine in O'Donnell Park. Seems to be okay, seems to be getting to her feet. Meath, by the way, have started with a collection of 10 All-Stars, not 10 different players, but 10 All-Star awards in their 15. That's how good they have been in the last couple of years. Monica McGurk has 3, Mary-Kate Lynch has 1, Aoibhinn Cleary at number 7 has 2, Shauna Ennis has 1, Mara O'Shaughnessy, and up in the forwards, of course, you have Niamh O'Sullivan. So 2 All-Stars and, or 2 All-Ireland wins and league champions, and looking to defend that league title, but they lost last week against Dublin, so they'll be keen to get a point or 2 on the board today. Now here's Gallagly again, who seems to have recovered, and that's what I was talking about, those sort of challenges. And if the player, the defender, stands there, you'll see it again, and the opposing player doesn't make an effort to go round her, and a lot of that is down to interpretation, and the referee sees that as a free, and it's a free out for Donegal. And now they go on the attack in the 13th minute. Got the 1 point so far from play from Suzanne, from Kelly Beggs, but Meath now have that defensive set up there, and they're making it difficult. So Donegal will end up doing what Meath did, and that is going from side to side. Boyle, or rather this is Leisha Ryan. Boyle is number 10 in the other wing. Dowds comes inside. Katie Long now in possession, under pressure, so Evelyn McGinley takes it, and there's a lot of room over on the far side if they can get it out there, but that's easier said than done. Tuig tries to go through the middle, but turned over, and Stacey Grimes all the way back there. Now it's Sheridan for Meath, and she looks to break. She's playing with the head up and a little bit of pace going forward. Decides to bring it back because there was nowhere to go. Gives it to Olivia Callan, and that's a good kick pass, and I think kick passes could be very important today, and that's a foul on Ciara Smith by Emer Gallagher. Just got to the ball first, and we'll get a free, and the referee takes the name of Emer Gallagher. That'll be 1 tick. Yeah, I'm just saying kick passing could be important today on this big pitch, just to get in behind, and if it's good accurate passing, it could be very important today. And this girl knows about good accurate kick passing more than anyone on the pitch. That's Stacey Grimes, left foot or right foot. Now Callan again from the Navan O'Mahony's club. She'll just slip it to Ennis. No, she won't. She'll go for the kick pass. She must have heard me, and that's a brilliant left-footed kick pass. And it's into Gallagher and a little bit of room. And from distance, she goes for a point, but it's just gone to the left, and it's gone wide. She's wearing 5, but definitely playing forward and playing on that left-hand side. Unfortunate there, and it was created by that excellent kick pass, but it remains 1 point apiece. Now, Aoife McColgan facing up to the Meath press, the famous Meath press. Look how many white jerseys are forward. So she decides to go long, and that's a good idea. And that's how to beat the press, because it has gone all the way into the middle of the field and it's cut out them all. And it was the number 22, Jodie McFadden, who was waiting there. It was well spotted by McColgan, and she's a good kick. And despite the press by 7 or 8 Meath players, she just took them all out. And now it means that Dowds has a chance at the other end. And has she got it over the bar? I think she has, you know. Oh, she's just put it wide. That's disappointing for the teenager, the 16-year-old. I think it was her out on that far side anyway, and she was unlucky. Close. Now Monica McGurk wearing a yellow jersey, so she's got the bib on. Now she faces up to the Donegal press and goes to the left half back position, and that's going to be a free out. So neither team on top really at any stage so far. You couldn't really say that. Pretty even game on the scoreboard and in the actual play. But really, Donegal need to find a few more scorers, a few more kickers, a few more shooters before they look to bring the Geraldine McLaughlins back. This is Meath though, with the Evine Cleary. She loves to get forward and gives it into Megan Tyne, but she's lost possession, gets a boot to it, but it's going to be turned over by the Donegal home defence. Here's McGinley involved, but this is actually Ciara McGarvey, the number 15 from Termon, also red-haired. And she got involved there, and that ball has been slipped to the right-hand side. The referee says go on ahead, and this Saskia Boyle. She's the only other player who scored in the league so far for Donegal, apart from Suzanne. She leaves it off, and patient play again. They come out to Tuig. It was this sort of position where they scored their first point. They come inside to McGrady. She slips it out. There's a little bit of room here for Katie Long, and is she going to get it a distance right? And she does just get it over the bar. And after 3 or 4 they've dropped into the arms of Monica McGurk, they have finally found their range, and Donegal go in front with Katie Long's point. So we're into the second quarter, and we've just had the 3 points. Can't remember the last time I actually commentated on a Donegal goal. Their games are very low scoring. Well, they get in behind. There might be a goal now, though. There's a chance for Suzanne White. And has she got it? Surely she has from there. No, she hasn't. She's put it to the right and wide, and they've been quite wasteful with balls dropping in and going wide, Donegal. But the manager might be pleased by the fact that they're creating chances, but should arguably be a point or two further ahead. Now, Mary-Kate Lynch. She's got Sheridan there, but she's intent on bringing it on herself. Now gives it and looks to get the reply as well. She's trying to inject a little bit of momentum into this team, and now it's Stacey Grimes soloing and giving it off to Gallagher, who's now popped up on the right-hand side, and she's going to give it to O'Sullivan, because O'Sullivan is one of the shooters on this team, as we've already seen today and as we've seen on many occasions down the years. But they come back out. They couldn't find a way down that right-hand side, so they'll be patient now and try to look for a bit of movement. And I can see off camera O'Sullivan's gone right over to the left corner. They're trying to see if they can find some way to get a little bit of room, but instead it's been turned over around the middle, or nearly was, and that's happened a few times. That's Minogan. She's been overturned and overcarried, says the referee. She had 3 players around her, and she just carried the ball in there, and Donegal did a Meath on Meath. Donegal's defence, when you think about it, has been excellent in the first 18 and a half minutes, as they were in the early stages of last week's game as well, only conceding 1 point to the All-Ireland champions. A little bit hard to watch, I have to say, at times, but that's the way the game is these days. Katie Long, who got the last point. Puts it in there, but that's just going to go beyond White. She tries to recover it, but doesn't. Referee says play on. So Aoibhinn Cleary does exactly that and gives it to Niamh O'Sullivan, who now pops up in defence. And here's Gallogly, one of those transition players that I was talking about, and off she goes. Those familiar luminous green boots. This is Cleary again on the ball. Coming through the middle, leaves it off to Ennis, and she wants to move it, and you can sense there's a little bit of urgency about Meath now. They're not happy about scoring only 1 point, but they're up against a very tough and dogged defence. Galway took a long time to break them down last week. O'Sullivan now well away from goal, so she just gives it back out to Gallogly. Gallogly drops his shoulder and tries to come in and actually finds room there because Aoibhinn Cleary has it, and now they might even get through for a goal, and a shot comes in and it's brilliantly saved. Aoife McColgan, one of the best shot stoppers in the business, and that is why the girl from Malin was up to that, as she has been down the years. Superb goalkeeper, and she faced up to that one at point blank range and did brilliantly to save from Meath. But Meath's first opportunity to get through towards a goal. They had one earlier where Gallogly was brought down, it seems. So the threat is there, but that's the first save that McColgan has had to make, and she did it extremely well. "20 minutes gone, 2 points to 1 for Donegal. Grimes goes back to go forward, if you follow. O'Shaughnessy slips it to Cleary. Cleary to Ennis. By O'Sullivan. And she looks to be provider on this occasion, and she's looking for Meath Byrne, and Byrne battles for it and gets the rebound, and it spills for her, and she gets it, gives it out to now to O'Sullivan, to Ennis. And Ennis has good company there, and now they get it in behind, and this is a chance for O'Shaughnessy, and she slips it in to Ennis again, and she does well to stay on her feet, showing nice feet as well to try and get round the defence. But look how many yellow jerseys are there. There's so many of them back there. I'll count them: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 yellow jerseys back there. And the goalkeeper, Gallogly now, and she gets her shot in, and she got her point. She has got her point, and it's an equaliser. It is an equaliser. Sorry, I had to pause there because I wasn't sure. The last few have gone wide, but she finally got it on target, and that's Gallogly with a really good point, and she deserves that. She's been playing really well in this game. Made her debut in 2016, 7 years ago, but hasn't been a regular starter in previous years to this one. But she got through almost for a goal, and she's been involved in nearly everything good for Meath in an attacking sense. Donegal with Tara Hegarty from Maville. They're moving the ball well through the hands. This is Jodie McFadden. She's held up though. Can they find a way through? Now it's Meath's turn to sit in there. Let me count there: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 back for them. McGrady slips it out to Long, and she's going to come all the way back out to Tara Hegarty where it all started. This is Leisha Ryan. It's Amy Boyle-Carr going to take it up now, and she gives it out to Roisin Rogers. Patience, the name of the game. 23 minutes in, 2 points each, and that's Suzanne White, and she goes to ground, and Niamh O'Sullivan, disgusted with herself maybe, or maybe the decision, I'm not sure, but wasn't happy with that. Let's look at it again. And they don't like giving away frees, do they? She sort of put a hand in there, and that gave the referee the opportunity to give the free. Now she scored a point from play from a similar spot to this, the first point of the game, and she just poked it up in the air, and I thought it wasn't going to go over. She steals inside, and that I didn't think it was going to go over either, but it did. Just slipped inside the post. She measured it perfectly, and that's the lead again for Donegal. 3 points to 2 after 23 minutes, and 2 points out of 3 for Suzanne White, and again Donegal's top scorer. We go all the way back to Monica McGurk, Meath, to Mary Kate Lynch. Aoibhinn Cleary is there, and here she is. They seem to have more runners off the shoulder in the last 5 or 6 minutes. This is Ennis. They seem to be moving the ball quicker. And look, you see, it's harder for Donegal to get their players back. And that's a very accurate, good ball in. I think it's Byrne in there. And she's got a little bit of room and she'll slip it. And this is Stacey Grimes, definitely one of the shooters. Pressure, though, now from all those Donegal players are back. And Meath so nearly got in there. But Gallagher is going for her second point of the game. And it might end up even being a goal. But McColgan comes out and deals with it again. What a brilliant servant she has been over the last 6 years or so for Donegal. So reliable. But it was Gallagher with the ball in, and it was so interesting that the big high ball in there, and after Meath just moved the ball quicker, they nearly get in behind. You saw all the Donegal players getting back like almost like a flock of sheep. There was about 10 of them at once, but they couldn't get back because, of course, the ball travels faster than players. And they got the ball in, but if they got in behind there, it could have been dangerous. But a sign there for me that they can find a way to unlock this Donegal defence. Grimes switches from her right foot to her left foot. And it looked like a good ball, but just left too much to do. And then the shoulder come in from Callan was illegal, so it's going to be a free out. And there you see the chance again. Gallagher with the ball. I don't know if she was going for a score or a pass, but McColgan unfazed and brave as well, it has to be said. Coming up on 25 minutes now here in O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny, and it remains 3 points to 2 for the home team, and they'll be quite happy with this so far. Long way to go, of course, but 3 points to 2 up against the All-Ireland and League champions. Elsewhere, by the way, it's half time in the other Division 1 game, and it's Mayo 4 points, Kerry 5 points. No goals in that game either. There were no goals in the game that I did last week, Donegal against Galway. And the 2 games last year between these 2 teams in the league final and the All-Ireland semi-final, there were 4 goals, mainly penalties if I remember right. Evelyn McGinley now. Gives it to Hegarty. I recognise the body language even before I saw the number. I've seen the Hegarty girls from Moville that often that you can tell right away. They're from the same mould. This one comes back out to Saskia Boyle. Talking about mould, her dad is Tony Boyle from Dunlow, who was the number 14 for Donegal when they won the Sam Maguire for the first time in 1992. Was at the game last week in Tuam. I'm sure he's here today as well. Alicia Ryan gives it out to Amy Boyle-Carr. Carr slips it to White, but look at the white jerseys there putting pressure on her. And Ciara Smith all the way back there, playing at number 12, but exerting such pressure at the back. She's a great finisher, but she's having to play her part for the team today. That's the game plan that they have in Meath. You have to work very hard, and it's difficult. I can just see a few girls labouring a little bit now because it's a big pitch, and it's not even February yet. Chance here for Donegal. That's good work through the middle, but it's intercepted by Anya Sheridan, who read it well. And they just outnumbered them really there, and that's Smith, and she's fouled, and that's one of those tactical fouls around that area that just allow all of the other players to get back, and that's one that you'd be quite happy with if you're the defending team. But from Meath's point of view, as I was saying a few minutes ago, they need to move the ball quicker, and that just stops them from doing it. This is Niamh O'Sullivan all the way back there, trying to find a little bit of room, gives it out to Cleary. Megan Tyne, and there's the runner off the shoulder. That worked for them a minute ago, Meath. They need more of that, but they're forced to go back. And Gallagher again on the ball there, and she's fouled. Clearly this time she's been in the wars in the first half. So brave and going for that ball from the side, even though there was a player coming in, and that's the second knock she has taken. And you see there, that was a tough one to take, and she says to the referee, can you help me out here, because I'm going through it here. And the Donegal player who committed the foul is still down. Is it Emer Gallagher? I think it is, and she's claiming it was the shoulder, I think. Yeah, and the referee has already ticked her earlier on, and she's protesting her innocence. I think she's okay, but she's getting close to a yellow card, I would say. And by the way, I think the only player that I haven't mentioned so far is the number 4 for me, Katie New. She's doing a player marking job. I think she hasn't been on the ball too much, but it's interesting on that left side of defence, 4 and 7 with her and Aoibhinn Cleary. They both joined the panel in 2017. They both came through the minors. They were both in the same minor team under Eamon Murray. And boy, have they done well in the 4 or 5 years since they have been in. Two fabulous players down the left hand side. Katie, by the way, was thinking about playing soccer back then, but Eamon Murray had a word and said come in and try playing for Meath for a while, and the rest is history. That's the impact that Eamon Murray had in that brilliant success for Meath. He was superb at knowing the players and getting the right players and talking to them in the right way to get them in. That was the impact that he had for Meath, and getting players like Monica McGurk back and saying come in for a few weeks and see how it is. He managed so many underage teams down the years that he knew all the right players, but he also knew their personalities. He knew how to talk to them as well and get them in. Central to the whole success. Not the only one, of course, but one of the key ones. That's a free out this time, and the referee noting again, and I think that's against Niamh O'Sullivan, who's just sort of apologising to the referee and saying, yeah, got that one wrong. And the Donegal player is in difficulty there, as you can see. Treatment coming on now. So coming up to half time, nearly at the 30-minute mark. 3 points to 2. Not much for the big crowd to get too excited about in the first half, but Donegal will say today it's all about getting the result. They'd be delighted if they can win this one. Get 2 points on the board. As our camera swings round, you'll see a bit of the crowd on this left hand side, and of course new management in Meath. Davy Nelson the manager now. Mark Brennan has stayed from the previous regime, but other than that it's a new management team. Tough act to follow though, and there is Mark Brennan. Came in before the All-Ireland, first All-Ireland success. So he wasn't there right from the start back in 2016-2017 when the three came in, Paul and Eamon. And they've also brought in Stacey's mum as the FLO as well, Michelle Grimes. But all changed this year for me. Then of course they also don't have Emma Duggan, Vicky Wall, Orla Lally, Emma Troy. So a lot of change that way, but still very familiar, and still a lot of terrific players out there. And new players like Olivia Callan, but she's played that one straight to Roisin Rogers. And Gallagher, who's pulled to the ground by Niamh O'Sullivan, and Niamh needs to watch herself here, and the referee has spotted that, and he's ticking that as well. Two experienced players there colliding. This is McFadden and this is Gallagher. Donegal now in the second minute of added time at the end of the first half. They'll be very pleased that they've only conceded 2 points. And they've a 1 point lead. Now Katie Dowds, the 16-year-old, tries to find her way through and jinx her way through a couple of players, but she's eventually blown for overcarrying. That's a problem when you take on the Meath defence. They're very disciplined and there's always extra players there. And it's not easy to find a way through. Shauna Ennis there, but Monica McGurk offers to take it, but instead they give it to Mary Kate Lynch. Don't know if they'll have time to get up this big pitch to try and get an equaliser before half time. This is Katie New. She gives it to Ciara Smith. Ciara hasn't had many opportunities in a forward sense. Aoibhinn Cleary, they're trying to move it quickly through the hands, but they're forced to go back out, and you see when they're forced to go back out, you realise that Donegal are back and there's going to be no way through. That's been the way so far. Shauna Ennis now, and she tries to get her way through, and she's blown for overcarrying as well, I think, or putting her arm out, maybe the referee is indicating, but looked like it might have been a free in, but it's going to be a free out. Shauna not happy with that, but that's the decision. Donegal's defence has been imperious in the first half, and if you get past the defence, Aoife McColgan has been in top form. So Meath need to find some way at half time, but Galway found a way through in the second half last week against Donegal. reeled off the last 5 points or so in the game. Now Grimes, she's got lots of yellow jerseys around, but gives it to O'Shaughnessy. She's trying to see if anyone's running, and there is a run, and now they get in behind, and it is Ciara Smith, and she might get through here, but she's held up, but it's going to be a free in, and that's pretty much as good as an equaliser, and Meath will be happy to get that at the end of the half. You see it again, Tyne, and it's a quick hand passing that is effective, and she was held up there. She wasn't going to be allowed to get a goal chance off, but even if she had, I'm sure Aoife McColgan would have been up to it. 34 minutes, nearly in the 35th minute, and Stacey Grimes will level proceedings as we get into the second half. And just off camera I'm seeing Niamh Gallagher still getting a bit of treatment. I think it's maybe an eye issue. She's been in all sorts of wars in the first half, but she's been one of the best players in the first half for Meath. But a very interesting and very level first half, obviously on the scoreboard, but on the play as well here, as it gets a little bit cooler in St Eunan's in Letterkenny, and it's the Meath players running off the pitch down below us, and the Donegal players following afterwards. That's interesting, just the body language there, why they're so quick to get in, but they are. And over to my right I can see Niamh O'Sullivan talking to the referee and someone from the Donegal camp as well, and that's probably when they check how many ticks you've got, and Niamh may have a couple of ticks against her name, so 3 of course gets you a yellow card, so that's always what they check at half time, and they go into the dressing room and see, well, how many players have got ticks against their name. Niamh O'Sullivan, what a player. Debut 2008 in the league, 15 years ago, and still as strong and as effective as ever. From Dunshaughlin, scored Donegal's first point today, and she's tried her best to get them going, but at half time it is 3 points each between Donegal and Meath in the Lidl National League Division 1. We will be back with the second half in about 5 or 6 minutes time. the Meath defenders and goalkeeper in a little chat before the start of the second half in the sunshine here. That's Katie New doing the talking and Sean Ennis, number 6, doing the demonstrating. Niamh Gallagly, who's number 5, but more involved in the forwards, and Mary Kate Lynch there, and Anya Sheridan, and Aoibhinn Cleary, and Monica McGurk, of course, the goalkeeper. They're still out in the sunshine. They've been out a couple of minutes. No sign of Donegal just yet in midfield. Same partnership out there, Mara O'Shaughnessy and Aoife Minogue, and the referee Kevin Corcoran, who could be a key factor in the second half. He's certainly ticked a few players from either side. I'd say Niamh O'Sullivan of Meath and Emer Gallagher of Donegal will be watching themselves in the second half, shall we say. He's now blowing his whistle, and he's sent one of his lanes people in to say to Donegal that you need to get back out here. But a beautiful day here. As you can see, we have a big crowd in the shadow in the stand here in O'Donnell Park, the St Eunan's GAA club, and it's the Meath management down there. That's Mark Brennan on the right hand side, who was involved with the previous management. I think he's the only one who's still there from that. Big crowd down to our left. You're just getting more and more of that now. Some of them have gone for their coffees, and they can't have been too entertained in the first half, certainly in an attacking sense. Just the 6 points in the game, low scoring as it is in the other game, although I gather Kerry have now got a couple of points in a row against Mayo in the game that is on TG Cahir. Kerry have hit 2 in 3 minutes, I'm told. It's got exciting there. Well, we might get some of that here in the second half. Certainly opened up last week in the Galway-Donegal game in the second half. In fact, not only points, I've heard now that Kerry have scored 2 goals. So it's Kerry 2-5, Mayo 6 points. So great start of the second half for Kerry in that game. Lorraine Scanlon with one of the goals after a sublime pass from Niamh Carmody and Schaefer O'Shea as well. I wonder, are we going to get something like that here? There's the referee talking to Roisin Rogers from Donegal. And she's wearing 9, but she's not going to midfield. Emer Gallagher is going there. I think she always does that for her height. Maybe just for the start of the half. Roisin Rogers has gone towards a corner forward position, but of course forwards positions rather mean very little these days. It's all about formations and game plans. So second half underway, 3 points all to play for in Letterkenny. Neither team have a point yet in the 2023 Lidl National Football League. Donegal playing from left to right, as you can see, and into the sun. It's behind those goals way over in the other corner, so it'll be in the eyes now of Tara Hegarty as she turns, and she goes cross field, but that's almost intercepted by Niamh O'Sullivan. Alicia Ryan on her home pitch gives it to Amy Boyle-Carr, who's been converted from a half forward to a half back, and very effectively too. But most players of the ability that you see now at this level can make that transfer, but it can make a big difference. You have the game in front of you a lot more, rather than the ball coming at you and then you don't know what's behind you. This is Tuig now for Donegal, and they're just replicating the way the game was played in the first half, because Meath are sitting in there and they've only left 2 players up the field, so they've 12 players and a goalkeeper back there. Amy Boyle-Carr tries to get in behind and gives a nice ball in to Dowds, who sensibly comes back out and gives it to White, and she's on her left foot. Tried to get a swing on it there, but she was just crowded out. Anya Sheridan does well to mop things up for Meath, but how quickly can they transition? Now you see all the white jerseys coming forward almost as one. Megan Tyne gives it back to O'Shaughnessy, but they're trying to move it forward, but Donegal players getting back at the same time. And now they let the ball do the work and put it into Maeve Byrne, and Maeve does well to get out there, but look at all the yellow jerseys. She's no help out there. She's having to do it all herself and isn't able to, but is fouled and gets a free in. She'll be happy enough with that, and Meath will be happy enough with that. They may take the lead. Would it be for the first time in the game, I think? Or were they 2-1 up in the first half? I can't remember. Grimes now. 2-footed, but I fancy she'll take this off her right foot. So 3 points each third minute of the second half, but a chance for Meath to take the lead on her right foot, and that looks like no problem to Stacey Grimes, and it isn't. She scored 4 frees last week against Dublin, and that's another one today from Seneschalstown. Got her first All-Star award last November as well. Smashing player. McColgan tries to beat the press with a good long kick up the field and gets it as far as Amy Boyle-Carr, who does really well. But Tyne manages to get it off her, and Shaughnessy has it as well, and it's a free for Meath, and they now make the ball do the work again. They give it to Grimes again, and Grimes, little pirouette there, tackle comes in, but she does well to keep possession. Now one of the shooters is definitely Niamh O'Sullivan. Has she got that on target, or has it just gone to the right? No, it's inside the post. Meath got the first point off the game, and she's got another one now, and Meath have just opened up a 2-point lead, definitely for the first time in the game. Great work by Grimes, great thinking by O'Shaughnessy further out as well from the turnover, and they have punished Donegal early in the second half, and this is worrying for Donegal because it's what happened last week when Galway ran over them in the second half as well. But still early days. Good kick out to Boyle, and Boyle takes it well. It had to be accurate, and it was. Boyle again, and she tries to just punt that forward, but Aoife Minogue is in the right place and sweeps that up, and Meath getting a bit of momentum going now. I fancy the message at half time was move the ball quicker. And Minogue, this is good driving run by her through the middle. McGinley is there, but she slips it instead to Callan, and Callan goes down and is overturned and has touched the ball on the ground, so it's a free out for Donegal. And we have got our wish, I think. This is a bit more of a game in the second half. It's got a little bit more interesting, and you can hear the crowd noise has gone up a level as well. They're a little bit more invested in the game, but Donegal on the attack now with Tuig, but she has got two players around her, and it's over carrying as well. Another decision for Meath, and Meath, maybe they've just upped their game, but they're certainly getting a lot of the decisions. And now Ciara Smith, for the first time in the game it seems, in a little bit of room and in an attacking position rather. She's very good going forward and close to goal. She's deadly. Doesn't get that far and is fouled though, and Donegal penalised for the second time in a couple of minutes with a free in on that side as well. And Meath posing big problems to Donegal early in this second half, and it looks like Niamh O'Sullivan is going to come over to take that one. So the 5 minutes at the start of the second half, definitely more interesting than the first 30 minutes of the game, I have to say. So Sullivan on that left foot. A little bit further out than the previous one for Grimes on her right foot. That's why she's gone over to take it. Plenty of height, but is it accurate? Looks like it might be swinging to the left, and it is swung just wide. Ciara Smith, by the way, coming into the game a little bit more, number 12, as you see there in the shot. She won a Leinster Schools Senior A title this week and got player of the match for Loreto Cavan when they beat Skulwura from Trim. And she played for Screen as well, who did very well in the Leinster Ladies Championship last year as well. It's only 18 years old, but has already been around for a couple of years. Has played in Croke Park for Meath against Dublin last year in the Leinster final. Got a point last week against Dublin, and was called into the Meath panel by who else, of course, Eamon Murray. In 2021, the famous year, when she was only 16, she came into the panel. What an experience that was for her. She's the future. Monica McGurk coming out to take this free. Also Meath players back there for her just to pop it sideways too, so she does that. Niamh O'Sullivan all the way back there. She always appears all over the field. O'Shaughnessy now, the link player in the middle, the sort of defensive midfielder. It's Anya Sheridan getting involved a lot more, and there's just more urgency and more snap about Meath in the second half. Gallagly, though, is forced to come back because all the Donegal players are back. All 14 of them now behind the ball. Minogue goes inside and now slips it to her midfield partner, and she adapts there quite well, but in the end just gives it to Rogers. You saw what she was trying to do. They're trying to find a way to unlock the defence, and they've done that a few times in this second half. They've 2 points on the board to 0 in the second half, and they're quicker at closing down as well. They've closed down Donegal quite a lot, so Donegal have not been able to make any impact, and quite unbelievable here. If our camera comes out a little bit wide here, I'm looking down to the right, and Meath have so many players back, not even marking players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Meath players not marking anybody, as you can see in that wide shot. They're just sitting up there. That's the game plan. That's the system. Katie Dowds now, the 16-year-old for Donegal. Great game last week against Galway in the first round of the league. This is Amy Boyle-Carr. The car speeding up along that side, gives it to White, and White plays that one blind, and when you do that you can get turned over, and she's given it straight to Mara O'Shaughnessy, who did the same thing at the other end. Now the runner, Niamh O'Sullivan. Where does she get the energy from? She has now got room. She's in behind the defence here, but is surely fouled, and she is, but they like to take it quickly. That's what they've done in the second half. And who's there? It's Shauna Ennis, leading by example, the captain, and she leaves it off to one of the shooters. That's Maeve Byrne, who puts it high but has put it to the right and wide, and that's been the pattern in the second half. Not the wide, but the way that they have played. They have turned the ball over quickly and they've moved it quickly. That's definitely been the message in the second half. They've had 4 good attacks and 2 good scores, and really that probably should have been another one. But Shauna Ennis and Niamh O'Sullivan, 2 of the older players on the team, showing how it's done, getting up there. You need the energy, you need the legs, you need to drive forward. That's how you beat the blanket defence, and that's why Ennis was all the way up there ahead of everybody else. Both managers now thinking about changes. I'm looking down to see who's getting warmed up, and there's a Meath player going to come on imminently. But it's Donegal working their way up the field, but having very little joy in this second half, and they've lost it again there, and that's Dowds, and again it's Meath turning it over, and when they get the ball they're moving it quickly. That's exactly what they're doing, and they have a few runners here as well. Minogue is there, and there's also number 10 Megan Tyne is there through the middle, and she might get it. She does get it now. Megan Tyne runs into traffic and has lost the ball, or has she? And the referee's going to hop that one. And Tyne just got the ball just at the wrong time, just as she ran into traffic. But what a fabulous player she is, so hard working in that transitional area there. In fact, I was talking to Aoife Farrell, number 18 for Meath, and she says her favourite player is Megan Tyne for the hard work that she does that isn't noticed between the 245s. Aoife Minogue does brilliantly from the hot ball, but can't just keep her hands on the ball, and Donegal have a chance to break, but Gallagher applies pressure. Advantage given. Oh, and there's a tough challenge coming in though, and it's from Katie New, and actually the referee says it's a free the other way because McGrady took too long on the ball, and to be fair, he's been very consistent on that throughout the game, but the home crowd not happy with that at all. 21 is Shelley Mealia for Meath, about to come in from Dunboyne. Went on a run with them a couple of years ago, and of course the Dunboyne team have Vicky Wall and Emma Duggan, who are not available to play today, but Shelley Mealia is, and she comes in, and she will replace Olivia Callan. Change for Donegal as well, and it's Jodie McFadden coming off. Trying to see who's come in. Was it 6? Was it Nicole McLaughlin? Maybe she didn't start the game, even though we were told, because they made 3 late changes. So maybe she's just come in now. Maybe that's what the change is. I think it is. Keep an eye on it for you, and there is an announcement now. Yeah, Nicole McLaughlin is in. Tara Hegarty back to McColgan. She will look to kick this, and one of the great things about Aoife McColgan is she can kick with either foot. Really good kick off the right and the left. You saw that one off her right, and she's hit a few booming kicks with her left. Leisha Ryan comes inside, and there is Nicole McLaughlin, and that's good quick hands and moving through a few tackles. That's what you need to do to try and unlock the defence. That's one of the things you need to do. Another is to move the ball quickly, and that's what Amy Boyle-Carr has done. That kick has gone high, but it's going to drop short for Monica McGurk, and she has to readjust a little bit, but no problem to her. And that's something Donegal did a lot in the first half, and they don't want to start it again. But look at the energy here from Niamh Gallagher, what an inspirational player she is. She fended off a challenge there and kept going. And the ball is fed back to her, but it's played on the ground by Megan Tyne, so it's going to be a free for Donegal. 12 minutes into the second half, and Donegal have yet to score in this half. In fact, if I remember right, they were 3-2 up. So they haven't scored since then, and Meath have scored the last 3. And have been on the attack a lot, more importantly. Now Nicole McLaughlin, can she get Donegal going? Ciara McGarvey involved as well. There's lots of players coming off the shoulder now, and that's young Dowds over on the far side. They come back out though to Tara Hegarty, and she will come back to Emer Gallagher. They're trying to move it quickly, but what do? Amy Boyle-Carr now comes back inside, and Tuig slips it now to McGarvey again. She's got 2 or 3 players around her, goes for her kick, and that looks good actually. It might have the legs as well, and it does, and that's the first score in the second half for Donegal from the girl from Termon, Ciara McGarvey. Let's have another look at it there. That's what you need, girls who can shoot from distance, and that's their first point of the second half. It's taken 13 minutes, but there's only the 1 point in it, so still well in this game. Now there's Minogue, and she's been fouled there as that challenge came in from Katie Long. I was going to say she lost her balance, but she might have been encouraged to lose her balance, so it's a free. Referee taking another note, but we haven't seen any cards yet. Donegal preparing another change, by the way. In fact, 2 more changes, I think. So they realise they need some more energy in there. Myra O'Shaughnessy, good ball into the corner. She's looking for Byrne and finds Maeve Byrne. She's giving it to Gallagher, but that's been won back there. And is it Dowds again? It is. The teenager doing great work, but the ball spilled, and that's happened quite a few times in this game. It's been hard to keep possession. It's a pitch is a little bit bobbly out there, as you expect this time of year. Now Niamh O'Sullivan, and really Meath have started the second half very well, but they're only 1 point ahead. They scored 2 points and could easily have had 4. Could have been not out of sight, but with a good lead, but it's only 1, and now Niamh O'Sullivan trying to make it 2, coming inside but trying to get her range, and obviously didn't feel too confident there. It gives it back to Stacey Grimes. But Meath, you feel, have a little bit of a stranglehold on this game. Cleary, support from Mary Kate Lynch. Katie New is available as well, and Niamh Gallagher will likely give it back to her, and does. New goes all the way back to your captain, Shauna Ennis. Donegal are camped inside their own 45, all 14 players. Meath trying to find a way through. Tyne doesn't see a way through. We're in the last quarter of the game, 5 points to 4. No goals this week, no goals in Donegal's game last week. This is Melia, the substitute. Gives it back out towards Mary Kate Lynch, and she sees a little bit of room. Is she going for her own score? She is, and it actually drops into the net. I don't know if she was going for that one or not, but a rare goal for the 20-year-old fullback for Meath, and that could be the winning of the game. MKL Mary Kate Lynch from Summerhill, an all-star in 2021, an All-Ireland winner twice and a league winner, and she has now scored a goal that we don't see often from the defenders, but that could be the winning of the game. And you have to feel for the goalkeeper, because Aoife McColgan has been excellent in this game, and she was just maybe caught out a little bit then, maybe expected to go over, but it went under. 1-5 to 4 points. Switch has been made now. McGrady is coming off for Donegal, the full forward, but good to see her back today. Aoife McColgan now. I said she's 2-footed. Where's she going? She's going left-footed with this one. It just pops it just about inside or outside the D. It looks like 7 rather is in there. That's Tara Hegarty. She's been in from the start. Here's a chance for Meath. I did feel that they were brighter in the second half, but they hadn't capitalised with enough scores. But now they have the goal. And to be fair, I think they've deserved it in the balance of play in the second half. They've worked hard in this second half, but I wonder how they will be energy-wise towards the end. Look at all the players there in position. The game plan, unbelievable, the way that they work with such synchronicity in there. There's a free though, or at least the referee is holding it up. In fact, I think he's going to have a word with Mara O'Shaughnessy, and she looks a bit shocked, but it could be a yellow here. And the number 8 is likely in trouble here. She's protesting her innocence, but the 2020 Intermediate Championship winning captain from Donegal Ashbourne could be on the way to the sideline. Made her debut 10 years ago, and yes, it's a yellow card, and she's frustrated by that. But Meath down to 14 players for the last, well, for the next 10 minutes. They'll get her on maybe for the last couple of minutes of the game. But that's a blow to them in the middle of the field, because she's been very good at the start of the second half. Has brought good energy into it. And that could be a point for Donegal. She got it inside the post. I think she has, and she has indeed. And that is Suzanne White for Donegal, and that's a double bonus for Donegal, because they are now a player up and they've got a point back. It's back to a 1-goal game, 1-5. But here's Niamh O'Sullivan and a little bit of room. It was a great kick out by Monica McGurk, and well read to beat the press from Donegal, and that's why they're now finding a little bit of room in behind, and also because it's later in the game. Donegal maybe tiring a little bit, maybe not getting back just as quickly. Gallagly available. Fancied it there for a moment. She got a point or two in the first half. Just holds it up, and Aoife Minogue holds it up. That's sensible play from her. Ennis available. She gives and she goes to Niamh O'Sullivan. And Meath definitely have upped their game in this second half. And that is looking for new, but it has gone astray, and it's going to be picked up by Leisha Ryan for Donegal. The crowd let her know that there's a player coming up behind her. Amy Boyle-Carr. Her way is blocked by Katie New and by Stacey Grimes, but the referee is going to hop that one, I think. There was a chance there for Donegal to counter, but they didn't move the ball accurately or quickly enough. The referee telling the Donegal manager to be quiet on the sideline. He's in control out there. Now this one is between Minogue and White. Gallagly involved as well. She's trying to get inside to get the break. She's not giving any ground. And it's White who grabs the ball and grabs it well and tries to go forward and is fouled. And we'll get a free for Donegal. And I wonder, is there a big finish in Donegal in this last 10 minutes? They're 3 points down. But can they get some joy here? Local crowd behind them in O'Donnell Park in Letterkenny. Boyle gives it to Ryan. They're going to come back out here to Haggerty. And Haggerty's going to come all the way back out to Gallagher. And see how quickly they're trying to move the ball around to try and make Meath move. But Meath are just shifting across the pitch at their leisure, keeping their shape. Niamh O'Sullivan is back there, collides with Rogers. Donegal come back out to Evelyn McGinley. It really is a game of cat and mouse. How quickly can you move the ball? Can you find an opening? Or can Meath get in and steal it from you and get a break? That's the danger for Donegal, but Gallagher does well here. It's McGarvey again, and there is the interception coming in as Meath swarm there and try and get the ball so they can turn it over, and they do turn it over, and it was good work in there to get it for Meath, and they have just killed that whole attack, and all that good work has come to nothing. In fact, it's an injury as well. I think it's Emer Gallagher who is down there. She's hurt. Needs a little bit of treatment. Just trying to see for you who actually made that last interception for Meath. I can see who it is, but I can't see the number. I think it's one of the subs who has just come into the play. She's gone off into the forwards. In fact, she's the most forward player at the moment for Meath, but Roisin Rogers has followed her. Didn't catch that substitution, but I'll give her a credit for a moment when I pick out her number. The treatment continues in the 52nd, going into the 53rd minute of this game. 1-5. That goal from Mary Kate Lynch, crucial in this game. Definitely wouldn't have expected the fullback to come up there and get that goal. Still checking the substitute's name. Is it 6, I think I see on it? Is it 16 or 26 for Meath? It's hard to see. Or Hare comes back down over the number. Turnover for Donegal in an advanced position. They look to see where they can go, but Suzanne White doesn't spot anything. In fact, she looks as if she's quite happy to take her time here and go for her score, which is quite ambitious. She's stealing a few steps here and there. You see her edging her way in. Referee is allowing her to do that, and she'll maybe steal another one. That's why, look how far she's gone from where the free was given. Doesn't connect though, and it bounces, and there still could be danger here, and they want a goal. They're a goal down, Donegal, but you're not going to get through that Meath defence. Megan Tyne there, and pops a lovely ball, which is well taken by Niamh O'Sullivan to Gallogly. She takes it from Grimes. This is vintage Meath. Gallogly back to Grimes, and O'Sullivan is there again and just slips it back to Grimes. And a lovely ball in here to the number 26 who has come into the play, and that's Rachel Casserly. And Rachel comes inside. She's got a lot of company there, and it's blown for overcarrying. And again, the referee being consistent on that one. And it was Casserly who made that interception a few minutes ago that I was talking about. And off camera I can see 2 Meath players have gone back to the full back line. In fact, Aoibhinn Cleary, I think, had stepped in there for Mary-Kate Lynch, and now Mary-Kate has gone back in there. So she was just minding the house for her. Not that there were many Donegal players up there. Roisin Rogers now for the home team. Donegal facing 2 defeats in a row in Lidl National League Division 1. Unless they can do something special in the last 7 or 8 minutes here. Trying to remember if they actually had a goal effort, a direct goal effort. They dropped a few in from distance, but I don't think they've created a goal chance. So if they don't get a goal, you're looking at 3 points, and it's hard to see that happening against this Meath defence. And Donegal have just lacked that kind of firepower. They scored 6 points last week in the entire game, and they've only scored 5 today. There is the problem. This is great work by Dowds, though. She's certainly done her best. She's a fabulous young player. We saw her play an under-16 game here a year or 2 ago for Donegal on this very pitch, and now she's come through to the seniors. That's the story with this Donegal team. But you still need to get points on the board, and there's a kick that has dropped in again to Monica McGurk. Buns to the bear in there, and they've done that too often. There's a spill though back there, uncharacteristic, but they recover. I think it's Katie New, and she does recover in there. Just for a second it looked like there might be a chance, but there isn't. Don't mean to be harsh on Donegal, because of course they are missing a lot of significant shooters and goal scorers. But at the minute they just don't seem to have the firepower up there against top teams like Meath and Galway. And it's going to get tougher. Next week Donegal play Kerry in Kerry. Meath play Galway on the bank holiday Monday, which will be live on TG Cahir, by the way. And they'll be delighted to take a couple of points from here and give Davy Nelson his first win as manager. Meath on the break now, and certainly not as many Donegal players back as before, and there's more room here. If they play the ball right, they could be in here, Meath. And they are in here, and it's Maeve Byrne. She's determined to get through, and she blasts it over the bar when a goal, I think, was on. A point, though, at this stage will do them and give them that cushion of a 4-point lead. And she has looked dangerous. She scored a great point last week against Dublin. She's got another one today, and it's just opening up a little bit for Meath, and they'll be delighted if they can see this game out. 1-6-5. Change for Donegal. Niamh Carr is coming on from Milford, wearing number 2. Didn't start the game. And she comes in for Dowds, the 16-year-old. I think we're also looking at another change for Donegal. And I think it's number 17, Cody Walsh from St Mary's and Convoy, has gone over to get a note. So she'll be on next for a couple of minutes at the end of this game. But it's Donegal on the field trying to get forward. And that's number 27, Eva Walsh, who came in there. I didn't spot that, but she must have come in the last few minutes. But Aoife Minogue has done a good game in there in the engine room. Now Melia slips it to Gallogly. Gallagher wisely just holds possession and comes back out there and says to Minogue, give it back to Niamh O'Sullivan. There must be 3 Niamh O'Sullivans because she's everywhere. And off she goes and gives and goes, and that's great play by her. Off she goes in the squad. 15 years, made her debut in 2008, and she's still going strong as ever and leading the team and driving the team, and that's Cleary's ball. It has not been picked up in Donegal. Have a chance to break here now. Can they move it quickly? Big pitch here in St Eunan's. Can they move the ball quickly? Meath have a lot of players back already, but there's just a glimmer of a chance here. But no, Katie New nips in there, and the referee actually says that's a free. Free for Donegal. 58 minutes gone. 2 minutes and a little bit of extra time as Cody Walsh comes into the play for Donegal. And Myra O'Shaughnessy from Meath is going to come back on after her sin bin for the last few minutes. They're at least asking the question if she can come in. And the word is no, she can't. Number 19 for Meath is going to come in. That's Alva Leahy, sister of Evine. So she's going to get on here for the last few minutes as well. But play continues with Nicole McGinley. Donegal needs something, and they need it quickly. And that's not just a goal. They need 2 scores now. Gallagher gives it out to Leisha Ryan. What can Leisha do on her home pitch? She slips it into the corner. So the sub who's just come in, Walsh. Walsh is forced to give it back out, such as the pressure. They come back out to Saskia Boyle. Faced up by the opposing number 10, Tyne. Haggerty gives it back into Gallagher. They need some sort of a sight of goal. They try to go through the middle and they can't. And Nicole McLaughlin is blowing up her over carrying. And how many times have I said that today? Here comes Alva Leahy, number 19 for Meath. Comes on for Tyne. We have to wait till the player comes off. We don't want another Kilmacud, Waddy Graham's. Tyne comes off and Myra O'Shaughnessy waiting impatiently to come on. Tyne gets a handshake from the new manager. I'm sure he appreciates how hard working she is and the shift that she put in, as always. Feels like more than 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was about 48 minutes on the clock when O'Shaughnessy was put off. And we're now nearly in the 61st minute of the game. Gallagher keeping possession, using all of her experience, gives it to Mary-Kate Lynch. Who would have thought she would be the match winner today? From fullback. There's the other fullback, Evelyn McGinley, but she has fouled, and that will be a free for Meath. And now O'Shaughnessy does come back into the play. So Meath restored to 15 players. She immediately goes looking for the ball. Niamh O'Sullivan right over on this side. She been replaced, possibly? No, she's just standing on the sideline talking to Mark Brennan, but she's actually still on the play and there's nobody near her. And off she goes down the wing, way off camera on this side. Wonder will they get the ball to her. They're working it that way. Stacey Grimes to Gallagher. Katie New is over here, and Katie is going to get it from Gallagher's punt pass. And O'Sullivan, I bet you could get it. No, New is going herself. Minogue to Gallagher. And she knows that there's no need to give the ball away, so she keeps possession. We're now in the 62nd minute. And Meath just running down the clock here. Kerry have won, by the way, 3-5 to 13. They had a good game by 1 point, 3-5 to 13 against Kerry. That sounds like a cracker. TG Cahir will be delighted with that. And all the TV viewers. Here it's 1-6 to 5, and Meath look like closing this game out. Shelley Melia gives it to Sheridan, and Sheridan tries to go forward, but Donegal get possession back. And is there a glimmer of hope for them in the 62nd minute? No, they give it back to Sheridan, who's been very impressive in the right corner. And Meath might actually finish the job here. 4 points up, and they're finding room. The Donegal players looking jaded in there. They slip it inside to Melia, and lovely quick hands, and there's a chance here, and it's a substitute, and she's blasted it just over the bar instead of under. But it's still a point for Alva Leahy, and it's 1-7 to 5, and that should be that for Meath. First points on the board for 2023 and for Davy Nelson. two very late substitutions for Donegal, 19 and 13 coming in. So that's Shauna Higgins from St Eunan's playing on our home pitch, and 13 is Cot Gillespie, who didn't start the game. And the two redheads coming off, Evelyn McGinley and Ciara McGarvey. Not sure they'll have time to get their hands on the ball, the substitutes, because we're deep into added time. And Donegal looking at put another sub on, but I really don't think there'll be time for Daniel McDevitt, number 29, although they've called her. But there should be a couple of minutes at least, but we've already had nearly 3 minutes. And Leisha Ryan has come off for Donegal, it would seem. From the kick out, Nicole McLaughlin gets it. Faced up by 3 Meath jerseys, manages to release it. Meath definitely up their game in the second half. More like them. I was shocked to say she's had 1 sin bin already. And she's penalised there again, but the referee's going to let that one go. Gillespie now just onto the field, and that's a good ball. Let the ball do the work, move it quickly. Gives it to Ciara McGarvey, who didn't go off. So it was Ryan who went off. And there's an effort from distance. It might just drop in. It's going to hit the post maybe, but no, Monica McGurk, safe as houses in there, watched it all the way, always in control. And there is the end of the game. And Monica McGurk so solid in there, the goalkeeper, 3-time All-Star. But look at the winner, number 3, right beside her, the fullback, Mary Kate Lynch. She got the goal. Can't wait to ask her about that. Did she mean it? We'll find out in a few minutes. But for now, Mary Kate Lynch from Summerhill is the unlikely goal scorer and match winner today for Meath. It was level at half-time at 3 points each. But the 20-year-olds, is it 21 now actually? I'm trying to work it out. She was 20 years old the day after they won the All-Ireland 2021. So the following year she'd have gone to 21. Yeah, maybe she's 21 years old now. But what a player defensively, and now going forward. And Emer Gallagher congratulates her. And Meath have their first 2 points of the Lidl National League Division 1 for 2023. And they have beaten Donegal for the 3rd time in a row, it has to be said as well. They beat them last year in the league final and in the All-Ireland semi-final. Next up, it's Donegal against Kerry. Donegal without any points, and Kerry have just been beaten in a thriller today by Mayo. And it's Meath against Galway. Those the games next, but for today, it's been victory for Meath. And Donegal, well, you can see where the challenges are. They don't have their well-known forwards, and that's why they scored 6 points today and only 5 points today. 6 points last week, rather, 5 points today. And they need to get those forwards back, or they need to get their shooting boots going. But it's also, of course, the strategy and the game plan and the way they play. And it was working for a while for Donegal, as it was last week. But in the end, they've been overpowered 2 weeks in a row. And it's Meath, the All-Ireland and League champions, who have got the victory today. And they've many fine performers today. They'll be very happy to come up here to Donegal. I spoke to one of the players before the game, and she'd never been to Donegal before in her life, never mind to play a game of football. And she has come up here now, so a very young team in many ways for them as well, and lots of good performances throughout the pitch. Niamh Gallagher, I thought, was a bundle of energy as we expected, and always is. Myra O'Shaughnessy worked very hard, well partnered by Aoife Minogue in the middle of the field. Megan Tyne, of course, put in a mountain of work, as she does, and Stacey Grimes involved a lot. But Niamh O'Sullivan, what a vintage player in her 15th year with Meath, ran the show. And it would be between her and Niamh Gallagher for player of the match for me. Hard to call between them, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's a victory, and there is O'Sullivan and Grimes embracing, and they're delighted with that. They will take 2 points back to Meath, and they will play on Bank Holiday Monday against Galway in the next game. And that'll be a very, very interesting game in Lidl National League Division 1. But for now, from St Eunan's in Letterkenny, it's goodbye.